making some sense. Now you're king. Now you're king. Now you're king. That's your deal, man. Skating is whatever you make it. It didn't change. You're the one that changed. Now go skate. You'll remember why you started in the first place. You'll remember why you started in the first place. You're the one that changed.
All right, everybody. I am Dayman, and I am your temporary host for this first little block we have here. Chameleon Twist is coming up. We got a great Chameleon Twist race coming. Just a couple minutes left. If you want to contribute for the poll to see which colors those chameleons are going to be, we're going to be closing that in just a couple minutes right here. Currently, we have orange and pink in the lead, blue and green trailing behind. I'm looking forward to this last day. It's been a great marathon so far. Stay tuned. All right, and just like that, runners look to be ready to go, so we're going to take a quick pause for the cause, send you to an ad, you can hear about our lovely charity, and we'll be back with some Chameleon Twist.
waxaan u imaaday ilmaha baa iga xanuunsaday xanuun badan oo xumad leh oo feeraha oo gaadan yahay oo ihileeyahayna wuu lahaa.
All right, good morning, Speed Docs. We have a fantastic race for you this morning. We've got Chameleon Twist with qwillinallthefish and Cyanide Gunner. It's going to be another great one. Commentators, if you'd like to introduce these fine runners, please take it away.
I'll start. I know I'm not a commentator, but I'll start anyways. Hi, I'm Quill. You guys just saw me in the Good Morning Speed Docs. This is going to be Chameleon Twist 100% US. I'll let the commentators do the great job of talking about what all that means when we get into it. But Sai, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my fellow competitor.
Hello, I am Sai, Cyanide Gunner, whichever you prefer. Yeah, it should be a fun race. I'm really looking forward to it.
And commentators, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Robros. I'll be doing commentary along with is he on still?
Hey, I'm Amhu Mahaba. I'll also be doing commentary. We'll run the game. So.
Yeah, and with that, we need to get the... We met the incentive for the glitch exhibition, which will take place after this, but we also had a poll for the chameleons. And Sai and I flipped a coin, so Sai will get first choice from the top two, and I will take the second pick.
Well, if that's the case, then Sai, you will be using the orange chameleon, and Quill, you will be using pink.
Wait.
Sounds good. And with that, Amma, do you want to count us down?
Good luck.
Yep. Are you ready for the countdown?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Well, this is Chameleon Twist.
Sorry. Alright, so this is Chameleon Twist 1, and it's a 3D platformer with some relatively basic movement mechanics, and a lot of the difficulty in the runs leans on tightly executing those. So a lot of it's based around using your tongue, chameleon tongue mechanics, and using it to catch on to poles and projectiles and spin around obstacles. And this is the 100% category, so both runners are required to collect every single crown in every single level, and they have to do it on the same game, so the same file. And so you'll see them going kind of out of their way, collecting crowns that you wouldn't see in the 80% categories. This is jungle.
Yeah, and you also see a little bit more of the level. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So any percent you miss a good amount of the levels, and it's nice to see that.
And then we'll also kind of point out some of the regional differences as we kind of come across them. Because as was mentioned, this is the US version. There is a category for the Japanese version, but some of the kind of some of the major differences between the two is probably the biggest one is in the Japanese version. There's a bowling mini game that you have to do, which is a real pain because it's not very good. But that's why the US version is a lot faster for 100%. It's mainly because of that, but there's a lot of other little things that we'll point out when we see them.
Also for 100%, you actually have to go through this cave, but the any percent category completely skips it.
And then also for the Japanese there's carrots that you can collect as well that you need to collect. Most of them I don't think are too out of the way, so it doesn't really add much time to get them. But it's just kind of interesting how there's like a completely different collectible in one version, not the other.
And so we're about to see one of the harder tricks in this level. This is mostly an easy level, but this pole grab here can be kind of tough. If your tongue is not the right shape when you grab that pole, your tongue will hit the wall and retract before you land, and so you'll fall.
Yeah, that was great by both getting it first try. Definitely takes a little bit of practice. Like you were mentioning, I think that's probably the hardest tongue grab in this level. Probably the hardest thing in this level to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that one took me a while to figure out. And so that was the boss of Jungle Land. That was Lizard Kong, I believe. The names are very odd. And so now we're entering Antland. This is probably one of the more difficult levels to do optimally, in my opinion anyway. There's a lot of weird moving and a lot of stuff to avoid, and a lot of easy spots to fall off the edge.
And one thing I want to point out, because we're approaching in, we're heading to this room, is this room with all the crowns just in a circle right here. My favorite room, because you just get so much without doing anything. But another kind of regional difference, in the Japanese version, there's actually like a whole platforming section in that room that you have to do, so it takes a lot longer on the Japanese version. So I don't know why on the US version they just put all the crowns in one room. Or like 8 crowns in one room and didn't make you do anything, but I'm very thankful for it.
I think it's a significant difference too. It's got to be like 20 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a good chunk of time.
And so this room has RNG. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that room has RNG based on how many times the room turns. And it looks like Quill got pretty bad RNG. You can't fight that.
Yeah, luckily it's not too much of a time difference on how many times it spins, but it feels like it's a lot, and every time it like looks like it's about to stop and then it keeps spinning, I find myself just yelling at the wall to please stop.
And so you're gonna see them save in this room before they enter the next one. This is a secret tool that's gonna help them later in the run.
Thank you for appeasing us for that.
Absolutely. And you can see in this room with the ants marching, there's a very tight area that you have to platform around to avoid usually losing like a second per time you get.
Don't want to alarm anybody, but this Ant-Man is gold pace.
And you got a first try door clip. And so what's happening with the door clips is they're using a moving vault to push themselves through the top frame of the door. I'm not super seasoned on the exact way that it functions, but they're basically pushing between the frame and the top layer of the door itself.
I mean, that's definitely more of a detailed explanation than I would have gave.
Fair enough. And this is looking like a pretty good Antland from side. They're both on good
Yeah, really
balance,
good.
But Quill got pretty rough RNG there, so...
Yeah, normally you're supposed to like take out the ants and then the door opens, but that's not fast, and we like to go fast, so we just try and clip through the door. What's kind of tricky is a lot of the doors, sometimes the timing's a little bit different. So when you have to clip through a lot of doors over the course of a run, you have to kind of adjust and kind of get that feel down for whichever clip you're doing.
They're all 1 or 2 frames too, so it's not easy.
Yeah, I just golded Ant-Man by like 6 seconds.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it seems like everything involving moving vaults, which cause you to do like that curved vault instead of a straight up one, pretty much every trick that requires those is very slightly different, even though they look like they should be the same.
My summer best is officially now sub 29.
Nice.
So this is another one of those the room Quill's in right now. It's a very difficult room to maneuver because there's so many ants that are always in your way. For me, it's one of the more tense rooms, and just because there's so much stuff to avoid.
It's definitely one of those rooms that when you do get it correctly, it looks pretty nice.
Who's going to catch up?
Absolutely.
Sai unfortunately did not get a hit on the boss here. Kind of how this boss works is basically she'll spin around a few times. Each time you do a damage, she does an extra spin on the next attack, and then you have an opportunity to deal damage. But unfortunately, if you don't deal damage when you flip her over and she flips back up, you gotta wait for her to spin a bunch more times. So if it's early on and you only have to wait 1 or 2 spins, it's not too bad. But when you get towards the end and you have to wait an additional 4 or 5 spins, it's a really big time loss.
And it's also very easy
for most
to
people
grab the ants.
Yeah. Especially if you have to wait for her to spit out more, and then before you know it, there's 7 ants on the screen. You're just all right, I gotta take some of these guys out.
Right, yeah, because you can't actually spin without crashing into them.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of take over here to talk about a trick. So we saved an Antland, and like I said, it's a special tool that's going to help us here. It's called actor storage. It's a bit of a weird glitch, but essentially the actors, all the enemies and crowns, spawn in sort of a list, like a cache, and we can, well, I'll show you in a sec. In the next room we're going to save and exit, and then we're going to grab a bunch of ants, and what we are doing is we're not grabbing the ants, we are grabbing the slot they are stored in, which allows us to spit out whatever is in that slot in a different room. So say I grab about 5 ants there. This is going to allow us to grab the 2 crowns that are really awkward to do in the next room. We do this glitch 4 times, and it can save upwards of 30 seconds if it's done well. Do it once more in Bombland, and then we do it twice on the final level. And it's the main reason that this category is either loved or hated.
And this is actually a US specific glitch, correct?
Yes, it only works on this version, and technically PAL, but nobody cares about PAL, so... Because PAL's slow.
And so everything that you see during these storage glitches, everything, the items they grab in the rooms, the items they avoid in the rooms is usually very specific. So you'll see that he won't
if you're
touch
somebody
that heart.
who, I was gonna say, if you're someone who really likes glitches and trying to figure out and learn more about them, I'm sure these guys would love to have you come in and test around with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I always welcome new glitch hunters in this category because there's so much we don't understand about storage as well. Some rooms just remove random values and there's just no way to understand why.
Also, this game is there's a lot of crazy code on this game, so the surface has almost certainly barely been scratched.
This game is held together by duct tape and willpower. Let's try RNG.
I'm still suspicious that the reason why the game runs at a slightly lower resolution is that all that crazy code causes bad performance. But it runs pretty well at the lower resolution.
I should also specify there's no real difference between the chameleons, it's just aesthetic.
No, pink is definitely slower. 100%.
Yeah, Fred is objectively the fastest chameleon.
He's a very sleepy boy, we love him.
So this is our bomb caterpillar, is it? Or bomb snake?
Something like that.
I think everyone calls it bomb snake because that makes more sense. But so this one is a boss that's a lot faster in the Japanese fight. Moves a little bit slower in the American fight, like most of the bosses, and it actually takes quite a bit longer to beat because of that.
One other thing kind of mentioned here is that they're doing the courses in the same order for the sake of the race. But one of the interesting things is when you beat one of the levels, it like unlocks the next two. So you have some actual freedom in what order you want to do the levels in.
In this category,
so sometimes you see runners will do them in different orders.
In this category, you have to do Jungle Land first and Ant-Man second. But other than that, you can do pretty much any order. And Ghost Castle has to be last. You can do like stages 3, 4, and 5 in any order.
Yeah.
And Sai has entered currently probably the hardest two levels, this one and the next one. This level requires very tight platforming.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for time save and time loss in both these next two levels, and especially in the beginning of the last level. So it really doesn't matter how far apart they might seem, because there's a lot of room to catch up or lose time.
I'm gonna go for the spin.
And because it's cycle-based, a lot of these next two levels, the time loss or time save is in batches of like 10 to 12 seconds.
So you can spin around that wall that I just fell against and catch a cycle that saves 10 seconds, but it's incredibly difficult and you don't have much time.
And this is a fairly new route.
Yeah.
So not many people have quite perfected this one. Grabbing this crown here is probably the hardest part.
I think incredibly difficult and not a lot of time are the two characteristics you don't want to hear about a trick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that one has... I think that one probably has like a 5 to 10 frame window, but you have to do it really well if you're not on the right frames.
That should be fine.
When you get the wrong position on the sand slide for that crown, it's one of the worst feelings in a run, because you just have to wait to like know for sure that you screwed it up. But no problems there. So.
This is also a pretty fun level because it's one of the only like pretty open levels, as opposed to a lot of the other ones that are kind of like room by room. So it's kind of interesting how this one is like a lot more of a open course.
And what we just saw Sai do is called Spike Walk, where you're walking on the left side of those spikes. Normally you have to use your tongue to make the spikes retract. It's a pretty, it's a fairly not bad trick, but it does require you to pretty much hold perfect straight left. If your controller has 1 or 2 units down when you're holding into your left notch, it just won't work.
The actual space you have for a lineup is pretty forgiving, but you do have to hold directly left, otherwise you'll just fall off the edge.
Yeah, and it's a long enough distance that it's pretty rough.
I don't like that you say that it's forgiving, because I never get it, so I don't want it to be forgiving.
So I recently found out that my controller has like 2 units of down in the left notch, and so it's borderline impossible to do that trick in a notch with my controller.
That's definitely why I'm not going. Yes, that's the reason.
I'm just here to provide.
Also,
you
that was
excuses.
Also, just going to mention, even though it was already passed, Quill made a really good adjustment there on the slide with that second pull to get in position to grab that crown. Really nice.
Before we actually get into the next boss, I do want to ask, since we're all runners of this game, what's everybody's favourite level and boss?
I'll start. My favorite level is Ghost Castle, and my favorite boss is probably the Cake.
Okay.
Cave's Land.
I'd say my favorite level is probably Bombland, and my favorite boss is Cake. Oh, Armadillo, which is this one.
I'd be in a toss-up on Kids Land or Desert Castle. I think they're both great levels, and Cake Tank is definitely my favorite boss.
We're just hungry.
Ghost Castle's a lot of fun. I feel like Antland's pretty fun, but maybe that's because I don't do it very often. So like when I actually play it, sometimes it's fun. There's a lot of like cool tricks in it. Favorite boss though, probably either Bombland or Jungle Land, just because they're so easy.
That's fair.
Notice that nobody said Quintella.
Yeah, nobody said Ant-Man is their favorite boss, yeah. So I'm about to enter Kids
But
Land.
Antland
favorite
does,
boss?
in fact, it has incredible music. It's the best music in the game.
This stage is the worst stage in the game, it's so hard.
Would like to mention that there is the possibility that I can make a comeback here still.
Oh yeah,
I'm not out of this run.
this run is not
Absolutely.
over.
Absolutely.
With this stage and the start of the next one, I could lose upwards of like 2 minutes. Easily. Which would suck because I'm on sub 30 pace currently.
Yeah, there is a slight mini game in the last stage where if it goes wrong, it can really go wrong. So there's a lot of
But if it
potential
goes
time
right, it
loss
looks really
there
cool.
if it does. Yeah.
Also, so the level size in right now is Kids Land, and this whole stage, the second you enter the level, a bunch of rooms have cycle-based events that happen, like where platforms are, and those are all started as soon as you enter the game. So any mistakes he makes might cut him off from a cycle and make him lose 8 to 12 seconds.
No. Cycles in 100% are actually like 20 seconds long.
Or a mistake could cost you nothing because you might still make the same
Yeah.
cycle regardless. So it's a very,
True.
very interesting.
The
level
cycle
in
I'm
that
going
regard.
for is quite tight. But the cycle after that's pretty safe.
It can be kind of comfortable sometimes, because, like, I think my Kids Land, I can lose, like, 3 seconds, and I don't get punished for it in 100%.
Yeah. Kids Land is fun until cycles start mattering, and then it just becomes very difficult. We're actually going to come back here in the glitch exhibition later for a really cool glitch.
These wafer RNG rooms that Sai's in right now have some of the weirdest perspective in the game. It's very hard to, like, tell where you are.
Yeah, so as I kind of mentioned earlier, in the Japanese version, there's like the bowling minigame, which is in Kids Land. So usually in the Japanese version, you'll do Kids Land a lot earlier just because you want to get that bowling out of the way, because it's so like, there's so many times where it can just, because you need to score at least 200 points, which is a lot when the game is not very well designed.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
So you knock it out kind of early.
The only person I know
It
who's
might actually.
relatively consistent with billiards, with bowling, is Running a Week.
Yeah.
But they're a mad person, so I understand.
It might be harder than real bowling.
Yeah. Definitely more mentally taxing. I don't think I can catch the fastest cycle, but I'm going to go for it anyway. If it's possible.
Oh,
You're at the end of Kids Land?
Just finished spin 2.
Oh, okay.
This way. Almost there though. This is on pace for it.
Yeah, this level used to be pretty comfy in terms of the fastest cycle,
Maybe not anymore because I messed up.
and then we
I messed up
we
4
pushed
of all
it
things.
a lot further.
So the fast cycle's probably dead now, but essentially, if you get there fast enough, you can clip into a glass wall in the next room, and I missed a crown. Yep. We're good. I'll just get it now. You can clip into a wall in the next room and come to a platform a bit earlier and save 20 seconds, but it's weirdly tight. Should still be fine though, even with that mistake. Because the cycle I hit in PB is this one's. You can grab that pole and clip into that glass wall and
Yeah,
jump
so
to the
like-
platform.
So theoretically, if Sai couldn't make a cycle and makes a bunch of mistakes, he might still be able to make a certain cycle. And
This is
then
what I mean.
those mistakes might not have ended up
But, like,
mattering.
People can still catch up because I'm messing up this final room so much.
This room is the run killer for both categories. It's super difficult.
Especially when you're just starting out.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna play it safe and grab this one. I'm losing about 60 seconds here.
Moving
dead.
chocolate platforms are incredibly difficult
That's so
for
unfortunate.
really anyone but newer players especially.
Yeah. This is
And then
definitely...
in 100%, this platform moves really, really slow.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you pretty much need it to get these 2 crowns. So that's why the cycles in 100% are so much more longer than in other
Grab the
categories.
pole. Right.
Oh right, yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
No pause. Okay, so on entry you can get a frame perfect pause, which allows you to do this fight 10 seconds faster. But I
You're
didn't
about
get
a minute
pause.
and a half. I'll tell you if I get it.
So Sai is entering he's in the boss fight for Kids Land. This is Cake Tank, I believe he's called. And the intended way to kill the cake is that you would remove all of the chocolate kids from it and then it dies. So we're doing a glitch here that lets you skip the intro cutscene by going into the training room and then re-entering the cake fight. And he's actually going to collect all of the kids from the cake in one cycle. And this is a trick that was pretty recently invented by another runner, Run in a Week. And it saves a few seconds over the old strat, but the old strat was incredibly difficult to do in one cycle.
Yeah, the new strat is so much easier.
I was never able to get the original 4 kids strat myself. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, and I'd say that the new strat is beginner friendly.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely.
one of the easiest tricks in the game now.
It also was kind of the reason why a good few people came back and got much better PBs in categories that they weren't necessarily prepared to play again for a bit.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool crown grab.
Nice.
Will. Very nice save.
That was insane.
I'm just gonna fail everything else now after I got that.
Looks like we had a good billiards from
Yeah, that was a goal.
Oh, that was the last chance. I mean, good job, Sai.
Thank you. It's not over yet. I failed cuss fault and
yeah.
game over.
There's plenty of things left.
There is one more use of storage left in the game,
Yep.
and it saves 3 seconds.
Billiards is another example. Billiards is another example of that storage being used. Normally, you're supposed to just play it normally, which is a huge pain because it's not really well-designed mechanics.
N64 doesn't handle
So the
balls
storage when work. So when you do the storage correctly, it saves a ton of time, and it can actually be consistent.
And so what's actually happening is he stored the pool balls, their actor numbers, and so you're hitting pool balls with other pool balls that you normally can't interact with. So every time you shoot one, you're actually clearing 2 off the table.
Hey, I got library jump.
Are you serious? This is ridiculous.
That is an
jump is...
incredibly difficult jump that looks way easier than it actually is.
Yeah, there's
I
no
think,
consistency
3
to
people
it
have
at
ever
all.
done it. It's almost I don't think it's perfectly understood, but it's almost certainly like a frame perfect or close to frame perfect trick.
This is the last stage. We're coming up on the end of the run. There's not much
You got
left.
time for me, don't worry.
So, I actually want to take... this is the last stage in the game. I'll talk afterwards. This one's weirdly precise. You've got to grab a certain amount. Do this room optimally, and perfect grab. This
I
room
didn't
is
fail
cool.
billiards, let's go.
Nice.
If you fail billiards, it's just an awful minigame,
Oh, yeah.
so you really don't want to fail the storage strat.
So this next room looks really cool when done well, and it saves like 4 seconds. You wanna...
Also, to note about the storage glitches that they're doing, in submitted runs, it's required that the save that you use for Antland to gather the ants is one that you created during the same run. So, with any of the main categories, you can't have a prepared save file, basically. Everything needs to be something that you did during the run. And
I definitely accidentally picked the wrong save file and used it anyways, so my run is invalid. But for the race, I just thought it would be okay.
I didn't mean to call you out.
Will's a filthy cheater.
And so the rooms where you see them shoot mirrors, what happens is there's 2 and 4 mirrors that pop up, and one of the mirrors in the room is assigned as like the key to the door. So when you break that one, you're let through the next room, and it's all RNG. So sometimes you just lose, 4 to 5 seconds just to having bad RNG in those rooms.
I don't think this is PB pace anymore, but it might be.
I'm certainly not on PB. My PB is, I think it's 40 seconds slower than size.
Yeah,
but I'm getting there.
Actually funny, we have 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place here.
Yeah.
Will has 3rd.
Ro is currently in 2nd.
No, Noah's in currently 2nd, yeah, and I have Will Record. So, got a high caliber of runners for the commentary and stuff. And Emma's like, what, 5th? So you're pretty high
I
up
think
as well.
I'm 5th now, and I'm very easily slated to take 4th.
Yeah.
I believe. It's a little bit of work, but I definitely can get 4th.
Nice RNG. I don't think this can PB anymore, but it might be able. Pretty cool.
I tend to forget that crown in the window.
It's safe. Wait. Maybe with a perfect fight.
Yeah, the boss fight is a little bit different in the US and Japanese as well. Japanese is a little bit tougher, but the US can almost be a little bit safer at times.
Not anymore.
If you're willing to take a little bit of a time loss. So
this trick is also...
It could go wrong here, but... Yeah.
This is probably the hardest trick in the game.
They're attempting to vault off of this pole while moving at high enough speed that they'll have speed to do a moving vault. Incredibly difficult.
There we go.
Saves
about 18 seconds.
12 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe more in 100.
Yeah. PB's dead.
Yeah, well, not possible anymore. I think if Sai had gotten that vault first try, it definitely would have been on
World record pace.
PB and world record pace.
Very, very
Half cycle, nice.
incredibly hard to put out runs at this speed. And so this boss has some RNG based on whether it's going to shoot curved shots or straight shots. It's much easier to get a kill with a straight shot first, and then a curved shot second.
That's time on me.
And it's actually, the boss is made out of a bunch of stuff from the level. It's just a bunch of things that are laying around the level. Kind of neat.
So, 31:07 was my time.
That is better than my PB.
Pretty sure that
that was a great phase too.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was world record pace going into final room of Ghost Castle.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was because I'm pretty sure it still was even after you failed the vault the first time.
Yeah. It was a 31:07 timing stops on the final frame of the fight rather than Fade to Black.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Of course.
Absolutely. Hi, CJ.
We have 50. Hi,
Absolutely.
I'm here now. We have $50 from Holly.
Nice.
Tell Quill I said hi.
Nice job on the first try, Cos.
Thank you so much. That's my wife's best friend.
Oh,
I made her watch. She is not interested in this game.
I made her watch.
She wasn't interested in the game until she started playing.
True.
To specify, there's like over a minute between the times, but this is still a high level run from Quill. Like, this category is not easy.
Yeah.
And there's just a factor of so many things that can go wrong. Like, sub 33 pace is still really solid.
Yeah, this is still second or third, right? Or third or fourth, sorry.
Third or fourth, yeah.
Yeah. I would guess it would be... Dang, I missed the straight. That's right. Time for me.
The
Yeah,
Japanese fight for this is insanely difficult.
That was not a bad run from me.
You know-
I mean, there was definitely some mistakes in there. I wouldn't say that it's definitely wasn't like a PB pace run or anything for me, even after Antland. But pretty happy with how it did go overall. And Side just killed it, so I cannot be mad at that.
2 gold,
Yeah, those
no,
were
1
both
gold,
very good
almost 2.
resets.
No, 2 golds. So I gold at Ant-Man and gold at Billiards.
So, CJ, do we have any more donations you'd like to read before we go into the Glitch exhibition?
We don't, but we are gonna go to intermission really quick to get set up for that glitch exhibition.
Cool.
So everybody stay put. Don't go touching that dial. We'll be right back. All right. Yeah, Damon, send us back. All right, and just like that, I said we wouldn't keep you waiting for long, and here we are. We have Cyanide Gunner going to walk us through the Chameleon Twist Glitch Exhibition. Take it away, Cy.
Okay, so there's going to be a few glitches we'll show off first. But the first one we're going to do is on the Japanese version, which is loaded up here. I'm going to use a save state. And now this is the bowling minigame that was mentioned during the run. This is somewhere in Kids Land. It sucks. Wouldn't you agree, Cole?
Oh yeah, this is really bad. The ball just does not follow the place that you want it to go
And
at all.
It's mandatory for Japanese 100% as well, because you get a crown if you get 200 points or more.
Right.
However,
So yeah, go ahead, Si. You explain this one. You gotta hit some balls anyways here.
there's a fun glitch we can do. So at the end, a scorecard appears. Go do around a ball. You can see why this is slow, by the way. It takes like 3 minutes. It's such like the worst part of Japanese 100%.
Especially when you're setting up for strikes and have to like reposition and stuff, because the ball spawns in a random spot across this line.
But you can. Something funny happens, and I'm going to make a save state beforehand to show you what happens, and then I'm going to make do a few attempts just to show off what happens, because it's really funny.
Yeah, we have a few glitches planned for you here.
Yeah.
They get a little better as we go along, I think.
Yeah. Saving the best for last, definitely. So, this is pretty much it so far. This was a very bad round of bowling.
Oh no, we won't get the crown now.
I'm so sad. We'll have to leave and come back.
I can't believe how close you are to getting the crown after just randomly hitting this ball.
Yeah, it's nothing skill based. I promise you that. Like it's completely random. So I'm gonna finish the round of bowling, and this is what normally happens. Scorecard will come up now, and then you'll press A to reset, and the bowling pins will reset. However, this may take a few attempts because it's imperfect.
Yeah.
If you finish
and it's
the
not
room
like
as the scorecard comes up, first try. Right? Just
nice.
The scorecard and the victory screen comes up in this room, which it's not supposed to be in. And then if we press A to reload, you'll see glitched out bowling ball. Now you might be thinking, where are the bowling pins? If we unlock this door, we're doing this, you'll see the bowling pins in there. Yeah, you can actually finish this in this room as well.
Yeah, why does it spawn here? It's so dumb. Well, this game, sometimes, I just don't get it.
You can carry the glitch through to this room as well, but that's slow. But anyway, we're going to go to the second glitch, which is 1.1. Which is the 1.1 version.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
This one, so there's a battle mode in this game where you can play with your friends, and on the Japanese version of the game, you can play against computers. The US 1.0 version of the game did not have that feature. It had only playing with friends on the actual hardware, actual controllers, whatever, right? But 1.1 took almost everything from the Japanese version, but reverted it back to the US levels. So now there's just a button over where there was the option to grant more players.
But this is
where the exit button is.
Yeah, this is regular battle mode. But if we go into options and just tap right on exit twice, and then load back in, the CPU just loads, even though it's not supposed to exist.
Yep.
And the game actually glitches out, quite funny, if one of them win.
I don't think I've seen that, actually. I'm excited to see what this looks like.
Just let the game end. Because as long as one of those wins, you get to see this scorecard glitch out. But yeah, this isn't supposed to be possible in the US version. This was supposed to be patched out.
Yeah, these were not supposed to exist at all. The computers just exist there because the Japanese version had them, and they kind of mishmashed it.
Essentially, the 1.1 version of this game is Japanese with the US level layout. And all JP exclusive cut content, so the white chameleon and black chameleon that exist in the Japanese version are present in the code for this version. The carrots are, the bowling pins, anything JP exclusive is present in the code. This is not supposed to be not supposed to exist.
Right. By the way, Sight, are you going to Lizard Kong next?
Yes. So, come on one. Yeah. Come on one. That's who won.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. We're going to go back to the US version, 1.0. It's worth noting as well, the storage glitch I was using, we were using in the run, is only possible on US 1.0 and PAL.
Right. So there's a little interesting thing on some of the bosses here.
Yeah.
Where using the vault to attack the bosses makes them kind of act a little funny. So we're going to start with the Lizard Kong, and then we'll do the cake second. Because the cake is definitely my favorite.
So we'll go to the stage 7, unlocked by completing 100%.
Yeah.
This is just a boss rush.
This is something that you'll just... Yeah, just a boss rush that you'll see if you get 20 crowns in every level yourself.
So, the game freaks out if you grab enemies with a vault in bosses, because it doesn't consider them grabbed for some reason. And we can make the butterflies in this room just freeze. Just like that, see? Just freeze. And you can still grab them, but...
Can I get a deep freeze in the chat, for those of you who saw the Kingdom Hearts round?
You have to grab the first one in the line to make the glitch work.
Yeah. Yeah, they like to follow each other, so...
But they freeze. And it's funny.
Really dumb glitch. Then we'll do the cake one next. The cake is probably my favorite glitch in the game.
Yeah.
Because I kind of discovered it on my own. It was already discovered, I didn't realize it, and then I found it. So, It is my favorite here. So this one, it's a little bit harder to grab these chocolate kids, but getting at least
I accidentally
one...
got storage somehow.
Nice.
But storage doesn't get carried into the boss rooms anyway, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that we haven't figured out how to do is carry storage into bosses, because it just removes everything.
Yeah. So, you're not supposed to grab these chocolate kids with the boss, with the regular movement, with the normal vault. However, if you just... It is a little tricky to do. Yeah. Seconding what Amahuma was saying in the chat, this game is very welcoming and easy to learn. I want to say it's
absolutely.
There we go. You'll notice it's staying open a bit longer so we can grab another kid. Normally it closes instantly after grabbing the chocolate kid, and I'll show you. But because I grabbed that kid with the vault...
We tried to do this to save time and not have to do that 4-kid stuff.
Yes.
Especially when it was harder.
This fight is now impossible to win because Ghost Cake
The Ghost Cake!
There's nothing inside to hit this. There's no way to damage this, it's just an empty shell of a man.
The chocolate kid literally is not there.
Yeah, there's nothing in
there. You can't grab like a invisible enemy or anything.
Yeah, so that fight is unwinnable. There's 2 more glitches
We'll try to hurry
left.
on these last 2 here. So this next one, we're going into the training room and going into room 2.
Yeah.
And both of the glitches stem from the same thing here.
Yeah.
So Sai's going to go in there and make a save state and be ready for it. But the goal of training room 2 is to kill all these enemies. Once you kill all the enemies, there's an ending screen.
I'll show you that as well, just...
But our goal here is going to be to do something special to interrupt that ending screen exactly when it's happening.
So, this is what normally happens when you end the room. And then it'll reload and stuff. I'm actually going to show you another glitch as well, I forgot. We'll do it after this one and then come back here. But if we grab one of these... Oh, I forgot to grab the flame. Oops. We grab the flame. Then come back down here. And then... This may take a few attempts. Line up this shot. And then talk to the rabbit. The text box appears on screen. Now if we go to the final text box of that rabbit, we've essentially stored that text box. So once we load into another file, we'll say this one, and we'll go, where was it, Bombland where we're going to go? Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing Bombland.
Normally this rabbit talks about Bombland and how the room explodes, but if we talk to him after performing this glitch, this stage is full of chocolate, wafers, and other. Don't know what the other is.
Crashes.
Yeah, and then the game crashes when you try to clear the text box.
And then we'll get this last one here, Sai.
Yeah, we've got one more to show you before the last one. Yeah, we'll do this one. I'm gonna bypass Training Room 5, even though it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
This is the most important one.
Yeah.
It's another glitch, but we're running out of time, so... If we do the same
last
thing...
one here...
And just leave the room instead of talking to the rabbit, which takes a little while to start the line up.
This is not easy. Sai's doing it with save states so we don't take too extra long here.
Yeah. This is frame perfect.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no? No. This is very important, so I really hope I get this.
Now, if you see the victory screen, that was he was a little too late, and if you see him go through, then it's a little too early.
No, come on. Go through the door, Fred. I know
you got this, Sai.
This time. No. No. That's not even hitting, is it? This is really tricky. I promise you it's worth it. Ah! Sorry. This will work. What's the issue? I promise you this is worth it. You sure? That angle work. No. There we go.
There it is. The magical disappearing chameleon.
Yeah, we just removed the chameleon from the game.
Yeah, so we're just stuck here.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is pause and exit, but just like the chameleon, we're gonna disappear too.
Yeah.
And be in the chat and stuff probably. But
thank you to everybody who commentated the race, and thanks for SpeedDocs for having us.
yeah, very much appreciate it. And if you want to join the Chameleon Twist community, look at the speedrun.com page, and there's a link to the Discord. And if you want to follow me or Sai, I think you can do !runners in the chat, or runner in the chat. But yeah, you'll see me later when I do some hosting.
Yeah, and I'll be about in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good race.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you both for doing that, and that was a great glitch exhibition. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to pay some bills and keep the lights on, run a couple Twitch ads. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for our next run, which is